Obsessed. Good planner from Shop ARL.
It's back to school season, which means it's time for a reset. Not a full makeover, not a new personality, but a reset. If you're new here, my name's Victoria. I am a third grade teacher going into her 10th year of teaching. I am a mom to 2 toddler boys. I'm a wife to an amazing man battling colon cancer. And I am here living a life. So today I am resetting because I want to start this school year feeling intentional about the way that I am approaching things and, not expecting perfection, but expecting to have some rhythms and routines that help me get things done along the way. So let's get into the first step together, won't we? I don't know about you, but this time of year feels like more of a fresh start for me as a teacher than January does. I want to go into this school year feeling fairly put together, as well as coming home at the end of the day feeling like I am a present mom, able to focus on reading books, making dinner, and not scrolling through Instagram while I am with my kids for the limited time that I have with them. So this video today, we are just focusing on setting intentions, making a vision board, thinking of some habits that we can track. We're going to be looking at routines and rhythms that we can put into place that will set us up for the school year, and doing a little brain dump. We're just here doing our best to set ourselves up for success for this school year because we want to do what we can to have a good year. So let's do this together and let's set ourselves up for success. We're going to have the best school year ever. I know it. Now let's get into creating a vision board. So before we get started on making a vision board, the reason I'm doing this is I just want to think through what I see my school year being. Right now, when I think of it and I think of a word, you know how you do one word theme for the year. When I think of a word that I want this school year to be, I want it to be intentional. I want to not be doing more, but to be doing more of what matters. So spending more time focusing on my kids than focusing on an email that I got from school. Focusing more time on having fun with my students than getting stressed out about behavior. Stuff like that. So I am going to make this vision board just imagining what I want as both a teacher and a mom. I am just a person trying to do both, and we're gonna just have some fun thinking through what I picture this school year and what I dream of this school year being.
I'm obsessed. It is so cute. So I'm going to talk you through what I put on here and my intentions behind them. And I think this was such a good way to start off my reset so I could just think through my intentions for the school year. I have on here some just being playful, fun-filled childhood, just like thinking through, I want to play with my kids a lot. I love playing with Hugo, my oldest. He's obsessed with trains right now, and the joy. So I want to just keep doing that. And then good things are coming. We are building a house, hopefully this school year. By the end of the school year, hopefully we'll be moved in. So that's just the vision. And then we love an organized classroom. Word for the year, intentional. I loved this quote, so I left that on there. And then I have growth over perfection over here because I want to get back into swimming more. And I've been doing a pretty good job, but I want to just do what I can. I'm not expecting perfection. I'm not expecting to go to the pool every day, but do what I can, as well as other habits like journaling. And then this is the classroom theme I'm going for, and I just thought that was very aesthetic and cute. And that's the vibe I'm going for in my classroom. I want to read with my boys often. I love reading with them. My boys love reading, so I just want to keep doing that. I have systems and rhythms. So I just want to keep having rhythms and routines and systems that set me up for success. This is a little picture of happy mail. I want to make sure I'm sending home happy emails and so on every week, really. So that's one of my personal goals for this year, but we'll get into that later. Then I have just daily slides here where that's another routine and rhythm I want to get into, is just making sure that I'm not really working on my slides at home. It's mostly a school thing, but I love having slides because it just is super, super helpful for me to set up the day, and my team does it together, so it works out really well. I am organized because we are working on organization here. So this is an example of a playroom closet that's organized. I just want to try and have as many organized structures as possible to try and help keep the mess and clutter away, because mess and clutter can also clutter up that brain of yours. Then I have present over perfect. I just want to be present for the moments. I don't care about being the perfect person, but I want to make sure that my children see me as a present mom, not scrolling social media, just like being there and being present in the moment. So these are just some cutie aesthetic pictures that I thought went with that. Also, I create joy every day, especially when we go to Disney, because we're going to be going to Disney this year for my 4-year-old's birthday. Well, 3-year-old turning 4-year-old's birthday. And I'm just already can't wait for the joy. And I think that kind of sums it up. So this was so fun. If you haven't made a vision board for your school year, highly recommend. Oh, and that turned off. So that is my sign to get into our next step. We have our word for the year. It's intentional. And we know we have a vision for the school year. So now I want to sit down and set up some goals and habits that I would like to track in my planner, and think through some of those goals that I can work through this school year. So let's get into that. So to keep myself aligned with my goals and my intentions this school year, I am going to fill out my habit tracker and also write down some goals that I have for this school year in my planner that I got. I got this undated planner from Shop ARL recently. They are also having like a big, sale. So if you see this in time, go shop there. And I'm so excited about it because I just need a cutie little hobby where I can color and have some lined off time, but also keep track of habits, keep track of my mood, and so on. So I'm going to write down some habits that I want to be working on this school year, specifically right now in the month of August, but I don't start school until I start the Tuesday before Labor Day weekend, and I go to school Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but the kids don't start until after Labor Day weekend. So yeah, I'm going to try and start some of these habits now so that I'm not like, hey, getting into the school year and like not prepared, I've done that way too many of times. But for those of you who are starting now, this is also a good thing to think of now. So let's write down some habits that I want to maintain this school year / August.
Okay, we did it. So, habits that I'm going to be tracking this month, and I will add some teacher ones next month, and I'll tell you what I'm thinking for those, are exercise 3 times weekly. We're not going for perfection, we're going for intentional, and that's what feels manageable right now. Less than 4 hours of screen time. I'm going to do a whole separate video on this, but I am addicted to my phone. So I think I'm doing better. I am setting goals and so on, but that's a huge goal of mine. 15 minutes of an evening tidy every day. Drink 60 to 40 ounces of water. Journal or plan just kind of set some time to like reflect for the day and color and just kind of have like calming time. A family walk. I love doing family walks, and we don't do them as much as we used to, and I want to get back into doing more of them. Read. I wish that I was more of a reader than I am, so we're going to really work on that. Hobby time. I am working on becoming more of a hobby girly because, like I said, I don't want my hobby to be my phone. So we are working on, like, this is an example of my hobby a little bit that I'm hoping to start up a little bit, not with the planning piece, but with like the coloring and so on. But I can get into more hobby stuff later. And then another is just create for me. That could be create and edit for social media if that's something that I want to do. It could be create an image, so on, like a picture. It could be create. I love to draw and procreate and so on. So I could be doing any sort of creation, but something that's for me, not for my kids, because if you're a mom, you know. And then I put up for a mood tracker. I'm going to be tracking the moods happy, sad, anxious, tired, and calm. I know happy and calm kind of go together, but like sometimes I'm not super happy, but I'm not also sad, you know, I'm just kind of calm. I'll be curious to see how I am feeling as I'm going through August, because it's my last month of summer and sometimes those anxious feelings start to come up, but also we have like vacations planned and all that, so we'll see. Okay, now that we've done this, habits that I will hope to track once the school year starts are things like using my planning time efficiently, sending 2 photos home a week to parents. Like my goal is to send, I think I'm gonna have 18 kids this year, which is like so many for me. But I'm hoping to send at least 2 photos and, you know, a quick email to a family to 2 families every week. That way I'm keeping in constant communication. Maybe even more than 2, but we'll start with 2 for now. I want to do weekly newsletters every Friday. I want to do like a classroom reset, classroom tidy every Friday as well. And prepping my daily slides / morning meeting slides like much further in advance, probably a week in advance. That way I don't need to touch them on the weekends or once I get home. So I will share more into that if you'd like to, on how I'm going to be tracking those things once the school year starts. But those are my ideas for things that I will be looking for in the future. But that was great to kind of sit down and think through some habits that I want to be tracking and be kind of setting myself up for success as the school year goes on. So now what I'm going to do is I want to think through some routines and rhythms that I can set up for my toddler. Some that we already have, but I just want to like put in a visual format for him so that we are again setting ourselves up for success and he knows what to expect as the school year happens, because our mornings are much more laid back in the summer. Sometimes we go to daycare, sometimes we don't, so on. We're going to sit down and think through some routines and rhythms that will help give him a visual concept and set him up for success, as well as us up for success for like night times and mornings and so on. Let's do that. Okay, so far I just came up with 2 routines. I would love to know if you have any other ideas of routines that I should make for like my son. And I just did all of this on Canva because I have Canva EDU, and it's free. They are not like the perfect aesthetic. We're not going for perfect, we're going for intentional. We're getting the things done, we're helping our son. We're not working for like, I am beautiful and aesthetic. That's just not the goal. So right here we have our nighttime routine. right now what I have is bath, brush her teeth, jammies, read one book, and tell 2 stories, and go to sleep. Again, I'm very open to your ideas here, but that's generally the order of events for us. So that's the nighttime routine. The morning time routine is actually trickier for me, probably because we haven't really gotten a good morning routine yet. So far I have morning cuddles for 5 minutes because we always love our morning cuddles. Then brush our teeth, get dressed, eat breakfast, go potty. I know we should probably have go potty like right in the morning, but honestly right now he still wears his like nanites, like a pull-up to bed. And most mornings he doesn't seem to need to use the bathroom, but obviously we'll see. But I like to go potty before we leave and go for a new place. So go potty and then leave for Auntie's, which is daycare. We just call her Auntie's because we go to a family daycare and everyone else there is basically actually her niece or nephew, but not us, but that's okay. I love it. So those are the morning routines and nighttime routines that I came up with. I'm very open to feedback, so please let me know your thoughts. But I think that these 2 things will be helpful for him to see a visual and also to try and start to implement before the school year starts. That way it's not like a shock to our system of like, oh my gosh, these mornings are feeling so fast and they're just like not fun. Why is this different, Mom? I don't like this. So that's the goal. Now we're going to think through some teacher routines and some routines that I am going to put in place in the school year as a teacher and a mom. And that I kind of already started with you with the habit tracker, but let's dive into it a little bit more. So this year I want the school day to feel steady, not reactive, not like I'm like constantly just doing things because I think I need to, but that I have rhythms and routines and plans, and that sets me up for success. So I created some school rhythms that I'm hoping to follow, as well as some home rhythms that I'm hoping to follow throughout the school year. So let me share those with you. And as I share them, please let me know your thoughts down below. Am I missing something? Am I, doing something wrong? Like, what is your recommendation? Because I am by no means an expert. I am just doing what I can to set this school year Victoria up for success. And this is what I've come up with so far. So for school rhythms, I have, and I'll put it up here so you can see it too. So for school rhythms, I have, for my morning work block, I want to respond to parent emails if I have any that I need to respond to, as well as write our morning message and do a final slides edit or tech check for the day. For afternoon reset, I would like to meet with my team to check in on plans and pacing needs, copy or prep for the next week or day if needed, do my weekly flow routine, which I'll get to in a second, and brain dump what's left and leave that brain dump at school. I'll get to it another time. Then I have a monthly prep session. Usually I have one PD day a month, and oftentimes I have time to work during those PD days. So either it'll be during a PD day or just the end of the month. And I'm hoping to, during that time, fill out the calendar with just key units, assessments, field trips, things that are coming up. Print out any long-term copies that I know I'll need, for example, like behavior tools that I have. I don't do monthly reading logs, but maybe you do, something like that. Set up any read alouds or seasonal books that I'll want to read for this month, and review any IEP 504 student notes that I need to get to in that month. Kind of check in on how I'm doing with those IEPs and 504 goals, and I'd like to do a better job of kind of like tracking what are things that I'm definitely using and are finding helpful, as well as things that I don't really feel like is a helpful intervention that is on their 504. That way, when I get to those IEP or 504 meetings, I have like written data for what is working and what isn't, versus just my anecdotal remembering what I think I use and so on. And then my weekly flow routine. I'm hoping to do this at the end of the school day, as well as if I have time during, not every day I have a lunch or a recess duty, so I could do my weekly flow routine then. So that would be update small groups / do some brain dump items, do some parent check-ins, send 2 photos and updates on how those kids are doing, grade assessments or update data if I have any data that needs to be updating, finish grading because grading, can be lengthy, and pack home folders. And then Friday is send out a weekly newsletter. I just do that via email, clean my desk, and reflect. And that is what I have for my school rhythms. So I think that feels good. I don't have on there, the only thing that I'm missing is when I'm gonna work on like the actual creation of slides. But I feel like that is something that I usually do during my prep time and during my extra recess time. So I don't have that on here because usually my prep time is spent with my team planning for the following week. And then I also use that time to work on, well, sometimes we have meetings, and then I also use that time to work on slides. So those are the school rhythms that I'm hoping to help use this school year to set me up for success. Now, here are some home rhythms that I'm hoping to use. I'm hoping to have a morning routine and a nighttime routine just like my kids. My morning routine, I want to wake up ideally 30 to 60 minutes before my kids, have a coffee and a short quiet time, and get ready before them, before they're awake, and then pack a daycare bag and a teacher bag, and then prep breakfast for the boys and myself. But then my nighttime routine, I want to do a quick tidy of the kitchen and common areas, lay out clothes for everyone, prep coffee and lunches and water cups and all those things that need to be ready, plug in my phone in another room so I'm not getting distracted by it, do a 15-minute personal wind down, so like a read, a stretch, skincare, so on, and then review my schedule for the next day and just see if there's anything that I need on the brain. And then I'm going to have a Sunday reset routine. I actually have a longer Sunday reset below, so I'll actually show that in a second, and I might even get rid of this one. But this was my original thought, was family calendar review, fill out weekly planner, prep outfits for the week, check the fridge, tidy up some shared family zones, and check in and do what would help this week feel lighter. So I actually think I'm going to get rid of this on my home rhythms just because that's like a whole separate thing. But that was, I guess, my thought child to this next list, which is my Sunday reset. And my Sunday reset, I want to do some weekly planning. Kind of, a lot of this is going to be repetitive, but there's a little bit more to it. So review my family calendar, think of appointments that we have, if my speech, so on. Check in on a school calendar and see if I have any meetings or something special coming up, if I have a staff meeting, so on. Fill out my weekly planner and just kind of check in with myself, have some fun, and brain dump any lingering tasks on a brain dump space so I can get to those. I'll prep for the week by laying out 5 outfits for myself and 5 outfits for my boys, refill the diaper bag. That means put in the check for daycare, so on, as well as my teacher bag, and check backpacks and lunch containers. Just make sure everything that I can have in there is prepped, and everything that isn't is kind of like ready to put in the backpack the next day. Kitchen and food, I want to check the fridge and toss anything expired. I want to place an online grocery order. I usually like to get the groceries on Monday, but I might change that. We'll see. Maybe I'll try and get it Sunday. This is all just, cooking up there. I don't know. Prep any snacks and fruits or meals for the week if I can, but that'll be tricky if I don't have my groceries, so might need to switch some things around here. When do you get your groceries every week, and when do you prep things? And yeah, let me know down below what your food process is. When do you also meal plan? Because that's the other tricky part of it, is I feel like I'm often using Saturday to meal plan. Anyways, refill water bottles or coffee set up for the morning. So all I have to do is click the coffee button and we're making some espresso. Do a light home reset on Sunday where we're doing some quick tidies. We're wiping down counters and bathroom surfaces. We're putting the laundry away for the week. And because thankfully my mother-in-law does a lot of our laundry for us. And I'm actually pretty good with having laundry done, but it's just then putting it away that is hard for me. And clear out cars or bags, because my car can get messy since having kids. I was not like that before. And just get rid of any of that extra clutter that just can, gather over time. And then just do a little mindset and self-care with myself where I am doing things of thinking, how can I make this week feel lighter? Is there anything I can do that will make me feel happier, that will feel good to me? As well as choose 3 times to move my body. What days of the week am I going to do them? When am I going to do it? Pick it out ahead of time. One tricky thing about being a swimmer is that the pool times are varied. So I can either go at 5 a.m., which is tricky for me because by the time I would get back, it's a whole thing to explain, but it's tricky. So 5 doesn't work, so after school works, but then they have swim team practice. So therefore, it's just hard to figure out. So I need to think through it ahead of time so I know I can get there certain times as well as I can do other workouts as well. And then I also want to decide on what social media limits and screen-free blocks I want. Right now, like I said, I'll do a whole separate video on this, but right now I'm using a brick, which I highly recommend, and I have scheduled times for when my phone just automatically bricks and I cannot access social media. And I just want to check in and see how I'm doing with those things, if those times are the correct times, and so on every Sunday. And I'm doing that with my husband as well. Also recommend that. Okay, those are the resets and rhythms and routines that I am trying this school year, or that I'm thinking I'll try. So let me know, like I said down below, if you have any extra thoughts. I think this is going to be really great. So my next plan is to print these things so I have them visual for me to see and reference, as well as my husband. And now let's get into just some final thoughts on this school year and how we're going to make it a good one. Okay, so we have a tiny little latte to reward ourselves for all the hard work. Now, I hope that this reset inspired you all. It was a great mindset focus for me. I really just want to be intentional this school year. Like I said, I'm not trying to get started on all of these new things, but I just want to be intentional about the things that I already am doing and how I can make sure that I'm doing the things that I care about and doing them well. So I think that this is a great step for me to just set myself up for success, and I hope that maybe some of you got some ideas on ways you can also set yourself up for success at the beginning of the school year. Now, please comment down below and let me know, when do you start back this school year? And what are some things that you're going to be resetting, or some goals and routines that you're hoping to achieve? If you've made it this far, welcome to the end of the video club, and please comment down below a little coffee emoji for our celebratory latte that we did this thing. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you all so much. If you want to see any future videos, we have classroom setup coming because I finally got an email that the floors upstairs and the hallways and stuff are done. So they are coming so soon, as well as more like teacher mom reset material, like resetting my relationship with my social media and phone, and resetting and getting some school year stuff ready to go, like my first week of school plans. So you're gonna want to stick around, you're gonna want to subscribe, and thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you all. I love you all. Have the best day, the best weekend, whenever you're watching this. I hope it's a good one. See you later.